Hi, I'm Matt and welcome to part 3 on this mini-series about the Onion Amiga. Now, as we've discovered, the Onion Amiga is a really cool board. It's very simple to use, especially with that web interface. And in the previous video tutorial, we looked at the 3 different ways that we can connect to our Onion Amiga to get access to the terminal or the command line. We saw that we can connect either using the inbuilt app within the console. We saw that we could connect via SSH, and we also saw that we could connect via one of the COM ports as well. Now, as I suggested in the previous video tutorial, either using the COM port or the SSH to connect to the Onion Amiga is advised, because in this video tutorial, this is where things get really cool, because we're going to take that 16 megabyte of RAM, and in my case, we're going to be expanding that out to 32 gigs of storage space, and that's what I'm going to be showing you in this video tutorial. Now, the first thing which we need to do is actually get in to get the USB drive open, so excuse me while I just break this packet open. Excellent. Now, the reason why I wanted to show you that it was a brand new disk, because I did struggle doing this the first time I did it, and thanks to the community forums. And by the way, if you do get stuck with the Onion Amiga at any point in time, there is quite a large community around that available there to help you, and you can gain access to that to, I believe, the URL. In fact, let me just go and jump back to my desktop, and you'll see at top along the onion.io website. If you click on community at the top, you'll just go to community.onion.io, and you'll need to sign in, and then you can post your questions there, and you can see that it's really quite active there as well. So I've been and got our USB drive. In this case, it's a tiny little thumb one. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this being taken out of the packet is because, like I said, the first time around, I struggled to do this. And the reason why you may struggle as well is that for this drive to work with our Onion Amiga, ideally, we want to change the file system on this drive to ext4. And that's what I'm going to be showing you during the video tutorial. Now, the only practical piece you're going to be doing in the real world is taking your drive and then plugging it in to the USB port like so. And that's it. Now I can see the lights being come on. That's about as hard as it gets, because the rest is copy and paste easy. So let's go and grab our console. Just like before, we used PuTTY. Now, I've already got my terminal window open from before. Let me just go and close these two so we start afresh. Like so. So I'm going to open up a PuTTY window. Now we know that our IP address of the Onion Amiga is 192.168.3.1, and it's port 22 and SSH. And just a real daft point, do make sure that you're actually connected to your Onion Amiga using Wi-Fi if you're going to be using SSH. So let's go and click on open. We'll wait for that to pop up. Log in as, we're going to type in root and then enter your password. Now, just to make the daft point, if you did change your password, you'll want to enter your password in here. And if you haven't changed your password for your Amiga, then you'll want to type in Onioneer. Excellent. So we're now logged in. Now, for this tutorial, we are going to be following along from one of the guides in the wiki. So let's go and get ourselves acquainted with the wiki. Now, this is just one tutorial of many. So let's go and find out where we can find this one and some other ones as well. So along the top of the onion.io website, if you click on wiki and then tutorials at the top. Now you'll see that there's lots and lots of different tutorials available. The one which we are interested in is the one to do with expanding our Onion Amiga to USB drive. So I'm just looking down for storage space. Excellent. And the one which we're after is using USB storage as rootfs. Now let me just pause for a moment to explain the differences between the two. You could just use that USB drive as storage, straightforward storage, and you could store files, data, etc. on it. Or you could do what we're about to do, which is to expand that 16 megabytes of memory to the full, in this case, 32 gigs, and have the whole Onion operating system running off that drive. It's really simple to do. It's only going to take you a couple of minutes. So let's click on using USB storage as root FS or xroot. Now I would suggest that you do have a read through the tutorial first, just to get yourself acquainted with the steps which we're going to go through. Now we are actually going to be jumping to the very last one, which is this last option on here, how to format a USB drive to ext4. Okay, so click on there and it's going to take us right to the bottom. Now to do this is really straightforward, and like I said, it's going to be as simple as copy and paste. So let me just move this to one side. Let me move some browsers away in the background, and I'm going to put the console on the other side of our window. The first thing which you're going to need to do is to type in or copy and paste opkg space update. Now to paste into the PuTTY window is very simple. Control V doesn't actually work, but if you right click, that also works really well. So you could have typed in or just copy and pasted opkg update. Now a little note here, if you're trying to install something on the Onion Amiga and it says no package found or some other error message, do run this command first. Again, a little personal, a bit of experience which I've had. I've spent about an hour trying to get this to work, and I realized that what I'd actually missed out is to run this command first. So before you actually do anything on your Onion Amiga, like installing additional packages, then you'll need to run opkg space update. So let's go and run that. That will take a few seconds to go through. As you can see, it's pretty quick. Brilliant. Next, we need to install a couple of packages. So this is going to be the Kmod USB storage extras, the E2FSS progs, and also the file system ext4. So again, I'm just going to right click and paste and then hit return. This will take a few moments to go through. That's to be expected, and I'll be back to you in just a few moments time. Brilliant, that's been finished. Like I said, we all like copy and paste. Now, I'm assuming this is the first USB drive and you've been following me for the setup of your Onion Amiga, so you're going to be safe to run the next command. If you've been playing around with your Onion Amiga before, maybe mounted other drives and things like that, you may want to go off and just check that dev SDA1 is the right disk for you, especially maybe if you've speeded on and added a USB hub and maybe multiple drives, for example. But if you've just been and put together your Onion Amiga and this is the first time you've been and installed a USB drive into your Onion Amiga, you should be perfectly fine with the next command, which is make.fs.ext4/dev/SDA1. Let's press return. Now you will get this message that the device contains a VFAT file system. Yeah, that's what normally happens with USB drives which you buy off the shelf. They all come with a FAT file operating system, typically because they're used in Windows devices. So we're going to proceed anyway. We're going to choose Y, so we're going to enter Y on our keyboard, press return. Now the rest of the options, you can just press enter. It will take you a while to go through. Brilliant! That's it, been and done. That's our USB drive formatted with ext4. Now we can go back to the top of the tutorial and expand our file system out. So let's just go back up. Oh, and also just to make the point, if I go to our Onion console and go into status, okay, so the screen's got a little bit squashed up. Right now, you'll see the file storage is 7.9 megabytes of 15.1 megabytes, okay? That doesn't really give us a lot of wiggle room, and when we start installing other applications like Python, PHP, Node.js and things like that, you're gonna really quickly fill that up. And this is one of the major benefits of adding a USB drive in here, is that you could potentially have unlimited storage and work way beyond that 16 megabyte limit. So let's go back to our tutorial, and like I said, this is simple as copy and paste. So I'm going to scroll down. You'll see that we've already been and run these first two commands, so opkg update. Now we also do need to install that block mount command. So don't make the mistake of not running the opkg update. So we're going to run that quickly. Like we saw, that will take a few seconds. While that's running, I'm already highlighting and copying the next command. Brilliant, that's finished. I'm right clicking, press and return. Now this will take a few moments. Brilliant, everything's already up to date. Let's scroll down. The next stage is that we need to mount the USB storage device. This is so easy, it's copy and paste. So we're going to copy the make dir mount SDA1, press return, that's done. Now we need to mount the device like so. Again, copy and paste easy, press return, excellent. Now, this next command is going to take a few moments to run. Basically, we are duplicating the overlay directory to the USB drive which we've been added. So make sure you copy that whole line, okay, so from mount all the way up to NT at the end. Right click, paste and press return. Now this will take a few moments and hopefully you see something which you've got the same on my screen, which we've just ended up on upper.user sbin make 2fs. Brilliant, all good so far. Next, again, this is copy and paste. Next we need to run the block detect command, right click, press return, that's done. Now, the next one is that we can use the inbuilt editor called V, but to be frankly honest, I'm not a real big fan of V. It's not very user-friendly compared to a tool such as Nano, for example. Now, we do need to go and edit one of the config files. So what I'm actually going to do, and this is what I would suggest you do as well, is install a text editor called Nano. So we're going to type in opkg install and then Nano. Okay, so Nano. Press return. This will take a few moments. Brilliant, that's installed. Now we need to edit the file etc config fstab. So I'm going to copy that. Now let's go and edit this with Nano. So we're going to type in Nano. And then I've right clicked, or I could have typed in /etc/config /fstab and press enter. Brilliant. Now we do need to change this. Now do pay attention to what it's saying over here on the left hand side. So we need to look for mount SDA1 and then change it to overlay. So target mount SDA1. So I need to change that. And by the way, one of the mistakes which I made before is I left SDA1 in there before rather than just leave an overlay. And then I made a mistake that I left a / on the end of overlay. So let me just pause for a moment just to show you what this looks like. So where it says option target, that should be just like so. So option space target space apostrophe / overlay apostrophe. And the other thing which we need to change is the option enabled to 1. Now I've just been and used the number keypad on my keyboard. I'm going to use the top numbers instead. So that's what you should now be seeing. Option target / overlay and option enabled 1. Okay, now to save our changes, and by the way, this is why I love Nano, you press Control X on your keyboard and then you press Y and then enter to save your changes. Now, that's 99.9% done. All we need to do now is reboot our Amiga. So let me just type in reboot, and obviously you'll need to type in reboot as well. Now, it's worth pointing out that unlike other Linux systems where you get a message like this system's shutting down now, you got no warning at all that the system was rebooting. Now, if we go back to the web camera, you'll see that the Amiga is now updating itself. Okay, it's rebooting. We can see there's a flashing LED, and we need for that to finish. That will take a few seconds. Okay, so let's pop that back on our desk. And now, while that's doing that, we'll be back to you in a few moments' time. That was quick. It's been and finished already. I didn't even manage to get a slurp on my coffee. So let's just make sure that we are connected to our Onion Amiga. We're not. So I'm just going to quickly reconnect. Let's go back to our console. Let's maximize our screen out. Let's just go and refresh to make sure that we really are connected. Okay, so we can see it's connecting there in the bottom left hand corner. So that's been reloaded. We're going to type in our username, so root, whatever your password is. And remember, if you didn't set a password, it's Onion here. You probably worked that one out by now. Let's go and log in. Now, if this has been and worked successfully, when we go to the status tab on the left-hand side, we should then see 7 megabytes of 32 billion, okay, something like that. Let's click on status. Brilliant! There we go, file system, 53.5 megs. of 27.9 million meg of storage space available for us. Now, yes, that is me taking the P, but my point is that you've now been and taken what was a very capable device with Wi-Fi, lots of GPIO pins in there, lots of expansion and flexibility available to you, and you've just been and given it a huge storage space on your device. So you can now go on and create your own applications. You can go and create apps with PHP, Node.js, C, Python, whatever your preferred language is on there. You can go install in other tools. Maybe you want to put MQTT on there. Whatever you want to run, you've now got loads and loads of extra space available for you. Like I said, all the way through these tutorials, these are not the quick tutorials, and we are taking quite a slow pace on there. And I do talk a lot, for which I'm not going to apologize for. But ultimately, I hope, and I sincerely hope, that you've been and found this video tutorial helpful for you and getting yourself set up with the Onion Amiga. Now, where do we go from here? That's where the stuff gets really cool. We are going to be using a USB hub. Again, I've got a Logitech, I think it's a C120 webcam. We are going to be installing some software where we can either take pictures using our webcam or even stream our webcam live across our network. Sounds really hard to do, but if you can manage copy and paste, this is dead simple to do. So for myself, Matt, I'll see you in the next video tutorial. Cheerios, bye-bye.